Hey everybody, this is Sal of Sal's Military Refurbishments. Do you want grenades? Do you want metal shoes? What about rocket launchers and hats? Well, we got them all right here on competitive Team Fortress 2. This is actually just a seagull and he's invisible, but hey, that's pretty cool, right? Anyway, we do in fact have a pretty awesome match coming at you guys today. It is going to be Don't Trip versus the old team called Laser Beams, which is now called Fully Torqued, and they've got a pretty awesome reason for that name. Maybe I'll talk about it later. It's not exactly PG rated though. I already said it once on live stream, and I felt bad when I said it, but whatever. It looks like right now Fully Torqued, who, remember, they have dropped Lang. They don't have Lang on Pocket anymore. Lang was the ultimate streamer and he loved his crowd, but apparently just something didn't fit there. He was hanging around people who didn't want him to stream as much, basically, and that was mostly the straw that broke the camel's back. So Lang left, and he left rather abruptly, which means that Fully Torqued have had to replace him. So they swapped Seagull, who we're watching right now, over to Pocket, and he got a nice little force early on Alpha. And now he's going to try to jump in there and do a lot of damage here. Of course, remember, you've got to wait until that Uber's over for him to really do the damage, but he's able to get some really good positioning here, taking down a couple players here. There you have it, finishing off Tyrone, who was going in maybe after the Fragile. The Fragile was the replacement member who has joined their team. Sean Bud switched to Scout, who used to be Medic. Seagull, who used to be Scout, switched to Pocket Soldier. And we'll see if that switch can actually work for them. Now, do remember, if you don't know, I guess I should say, Seagull, a really good Pocket Soldier. He is he's considered one of the best, actually. And he's been out of TF2 for a while, plays off and on. Seems like the Fragile just died to Waz Up. That is actually, well, was up, whatever. That's actually Clockwork. We're not going to make any bones about that. He was trolling, or he was trying to troll. It was not the world's most successful troll, and I almost feel bad for him now, because everybody in TF2 is being angry at him. But yeah, Clockwork. This is Clockwork. And so right now, of course, you can see that the team .it, that is, of course, Don't Trip, they hold the point. They have no problems holding that point right now, and they've got a lead in the time. Incoming Demo Man bomb, but I don't see where he is even gone. The Fragile, meanwhile, and oh no! What just happened there? The Fragile was trying to build Uber and spawn. That was actually really beautiful by Blaze. Oh, it was Blaze, of course. Of course it was Blaze who made that move. That is something I've never actually seen before. Okay, so I'm just scatterbrained. I'm all over the place. I just had my coffee, but I really want to talk about this. So what just happened there is that Don't Trip, they had an Uber advantage, I'm pretty sure, and they were kind of expecting their opponents to come in with a four-man suicide. And that's typical. At this level, you come in and you get the four-man suicide, and basically you're just trying to force the enemy to pop while you have your own medic building pretty much in spawn. Blaze, on the other hand, he realized what was going on here. He countered the four-man suicide by jumping in and killing the Fragile practically inside his own spawn. That is incredible. So that's really gonna help Don't Trip with this round. I'm pretty sure they still hold the points. As you can see, they've got over a minute left of time on the clock. And wow, just amazing stuff. Now, this game was already casted. In fact, pretty much all the games I'm going to cast coming up have already been casted mostly by the Don't Trip, by the Team Fortress.tv crew. So Seabear, DJC, I tried to cast this one, and instead, I think Blank got to the STV demo, and Mr. Slyn might have gotten to the STV demo. So these games have already been casted. If you have watched them on other people's streams and YouTube channels, don't worry about watching it, unless you just really like my voice for some reason, which is cool. I appreciate that.
Mission ends in 30 seconds.
But pretty much, these already been casted, so it's not like it's groundbreaking news. I just wanted to bring my perspective to the games because they're awesome, and I haven't shoutcasted anything in quite a while, and these are awesome games. We've got Pure, by the way, on demo. He's been on demo all season, decided he didn't want to play Medic this season, so he is going for demo, and I've heard good things. I've heard very good things about him on demo. We'll see if he can actually hold up to a demo-like dummy. Dummy's pretty fantastic on the demo, man. And right now you do see, just in overtime, Team Fully Torqued manages to grab this point. Now, are Fully Torqued actually going to be getting to LAN? That's the question. Remember, there are 8 teams in Invite, and only 4 of them go to LAN. The top 4, in case that was unclear. Nice kill by Pure on Blaze, but the Fragile drops Uber anyway. Tyrone finishing him off with a little bit of a long-range rocket there, and so that's really not going to help. Looks like Don't Trip isn't going to have a problem here, grabbing the point. They're going to lay down a couple sticky traps, and actually didn't manage to do as much with those as they wanted to, but it doesn't even matter. They capture the point, and Don't Trip takes 1 round off of Fully Torqued. These teams seem like they're pretty evenly matched, and I gotta say, with Clockwork and Dummy and Blaze, and with the fact that Hero and Tyrone are pretty chill dudes, they all like each other, I would have given this match to them outright. Except that when Lang left the team, it might have actually, I hate to say this about Lang because he's a great guy, but it might have actually been an upgrade for the Fully Torqued team to put Seagull on Pocket Soldier. So these teams are pretty evenly matched right now. I can't give you a prediction on this one, even though I already know the score. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give you any kind of preds here on Koth Pro Viaduct. And so Blaze taking down Z Brian, was up. That's Clockwork taking down Pure. Oh, and the story behind the Clockwork troll, if you didn't know that one, I guess he was doing something that YZ50 in the past has done, and that is basically he dropped his team and then came back in under a different account, Was Up, who he's played Scout for, the actual player Was Up, I think, has played Scout for some intermediate or open teams before, but, Clockwork was, I guess, trying to troll by saying, oh, and I'm a different player, but it's really just Clockwork. And the ESEA admins, they know about it at this point. But really, there's not a lot they can do. They could just ban the kid, but the kid is probably a little blind. But they're not going to. But they know. And the thing is, he told Seabear, and he told everybody in all of the other invite teams when he was doing it. So, oh, here comes a Kritzkrieg, and it's countered by an Uber, actually. So, Seagull's just gonna be like, yeah, whatever, I'm invincible. Like, your crits don't bother me. But yeah, Clockwork, he told everybody he was doing it, so it kind of defeated the purpose of, Was Up suddenly coming in and being, like, the ultimate scout, because everybody knew it was Clockwork. So at this point, he's just basically paid his $40 league fee twice. And here's a pretty important thing about ESEA, too, is that you only get 4, if you're an invite anyway, you only get 4. Ooh, nice air shot by Tyrone. You don't hear that one that often. Oh, no, just kidding. Tyrone's pretty good. But you only get 4 roster swaps, 4 changes to your roster per season. You can't go beyond that, so don't trip. I mean, they're playing a dangerous game right now. They apparently, after Blaze left and rejoined, they only have 1 roster swap left. That's not good. That's not good at all. But right now, Fully Torqued looking pretty good here. I gotta say, even after the air shot, they still hold the point for a good deal more time than their opponents. Now, they have had the Uber Force. Fragile was just standing on flat ground, and somehow that rocket managed to snake right underneath his feet. The explosion hitting his legs and possibly his nether regions. And we do have, let's see, we got Alpha with 65%, so they're not quite ready on the Uber yet, but they will have an advantage. They're going to try and jump in. Now the question is, can this jump by Pure actually do anything? And no, he ends up killing himself with a pipe. He hurt Alpha. Alpha is at 32 health, and I would expect somebody to try and follow this up, but where is the red medic? He has disappeared, actually. Went back and got that health kit, so the rest of his team is way far forward. Nobody was going to be able to find Alpha there unless they somehow had a flank going on, and they did not. So the question now is, what's Blaze doing? What is Blaze doing? He's just sitting around waiting for heals. Okay, well, that's unusual. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, he even agrees with me. Forgot to turn voice off, but that was perfectly timed. Anyway, in comes Pure and Seagull, both of them being taken out, but not before they get the Uber Force off of Alpha, which is pretty important here, as that's going to mean now the Fragile almost has an Uber of his own. Blaze threading the rockets expertly through this little doorway. You can see the spawn point just from there. And this is what you kind of want to do. You got to make sure that you see your opponents coming in and harass them well before they get to the point. You don't want them bringing that Uber all the way up to the middle point. And so he's going to stop that. And now Blaze, in a fury, no, actually he's just kind of hanging out with his med for the moment, wants to get that buff before he goes in. There's a lot of action going on. Blaze is going to try and sneak around from the flank, come in, deal a couple of rocket damage, and then he has to leave. Hero and Alpha are actually both down. We miss a Seagull taking a big bomb in there and killing Alpha. The medic for Don't Trip. And apparently somebody's lagging. What are you going to do about it? Because they changed servers before they even went here just to get away from lag. And lag still happened. Might have been an ESEA issue that night. I don't know. Heard there was a CSGO update that was causing all of ESEA's servers to lag. They probably run them mostly on the same 2 boxes. Sitting in somebody's basement, they've got 4 cables each coming out of them. It's like, these are all of our servers. Actually, I've seen their servers, now that I think about it. Or at least their LAN servers. When they go to LAN, they bring this big packet, this big pallet of servers and computers and stuff. Everyone plays in the same hardware. Blaze is down, Hero is down though, and now Clockwork trying to single-handedly save this team. Can't do it, just quite. And that means that Dummy is the only one left. He probably can't make anything happen here. A single lone demo man getting invaded by 2 scouts. He is going to fall. And now we've got the 2 scouts here, Justin and Sean Bud, trying to get themselves healed up. And I wonder if Sean Bud is still a little salty about the the trash talk coming out of Arc from Zensity, because you remember Zensity actually defeated the laser beams back when they were called laser beams and not fully torqued. And he was saying, dude, they should put their aces in their places. They should put Sean Bud back on scout because he's a better scout than he is med. So now he's a scout. I wonder if they're going to face Zensity later in the season and just be like, yeah, what do you think now, huh? But anyway, we right now have the fully torqued team holding the point, no problem. Z-Brian on the heavy. He's just like, yeah, you're not getting anywhere close to this. It's now 1-1. And I'm having to turn my volume down every so often on these machines and just like clear my throat because I'm casting this in the morning and my nose is still not quite 100%. Actually, it's 125% on mucus production. Just in case you were wondering, Z-Brian taking some hits here at this mid-fight, and it's actually a pretty brutal one. Both teams losing a lot of players. Sean Bud trying to do some damage, but he will have to back off, keep his med alive, because he knows there's a scout back here. He wants to make sure that the Fragile doesn't take these hits, and he will get that kill on Clockwork. Clockwork was tunnel visioned onto that medic, but couldn't quite get the kill. The Fragile at 28 health, but it doesn't matter. Nobody's left alive for the Don't Trip team. And so that means fully torqued once again. Get the point. No problem. Tyrone. Game of nipple hairs. Okay, and that is, of course, what that's something that Seabear says all the time, too. But what are you going to do about it? So right now, fully torqued, they're just waiting on the point. They're not really pushing forward at all. Maybe they realized they weren't going to get the opportunity. But Blaze taken down by a nice sticky trap from Pure. Pure apparently really good at those sticky traps in places where you just don't quite expect them. That's one thing that people have complained about playing against Pure. They're just like, man, he has stickies like everywhere. And now in comes the Uber. Alpha doesn't have anything close, but we're watching the Clockwork cam as he takes down players over on the side of this Uber, going around behind. He spots this soldier, probably, who is that soldier? I forget. Z-Brian, the roamer, for fully torqued. And Z-Brian managed to escape that unscathed, but you know what? This Uber was not as successful for the Fragile as he wanted, as they lost at least one player during that. The Fragile now, oh my gosh, so close to getting taken out. Blaze barreling down at him with that skill stick out. It's actually not as much of a skill stick anymore, as now it actually only does 65 damage instead of like 200 every time you hit someone. Okay, I realize it wasn't actually 200. It was elaboration. Exaggeration. That's the word. Don't make fun of me. Everybody in the comments is now making fun of me. Just look at the comments. Just read them. They're all just like, haha, Sal can't English today. Yeah? You read that one? Okay, good. See, I can predict my own comments. But, no, right now, Pure is just laying some sticks down, trying to clear the way here and maybe make it seem like they're going to the right-hand side. But it's actually tough to get out of these if your opponents are paying any kind of attention to the front. And you do see this is probably Blaze doing just that. Z-Brian taken down already by a nice sticky trap from Dummy. Incoming big soldier bomb there. Tyrone wants to get away, though. He needs to escape. And actually, Alpha is down. So this Uber is going to work out really well, I think, as long as they can get 1 or 2 more picks. Dummy taking a lot of damage. He's down. And Sean Bud gets the kill on Tyrone. So Justin now pops Hero off. And it's just Blaze left. Now, you can't count out Blaze, because when you say it's just Blaze left, I mean, Blaze could be anywhere. And right now, he's actually hanging out behind this. He finds the med, but he actually popped him up on top of that rock, and that just did not quite work out. You can't really hit somebody except with a shotgun up there. And so, decent job of causing some damage to the Fragile, but he didn't kill him. Oh, man, sorry, I'm being disgusting this morning. But there you go. Don't trip right now. They want to take the point back. But can they actually do it? Because I gotta tell you, this team is looking stronger now that they're playing against. Fully Torqued looks a lot stronger. And Don't Trip, we kind of expected them to be one of the teams that was in like the top 3. They got Clockwork, they got a lot of really good players, and right now, if they get knocked out, they might not even be in the top 4 to make it to LAN. They're going to have a hard season ahead of them. Maybe they don't want to... Oh, incoming Chris Creek. Oh, Dummy with a huge pick. We got to instant replay that right now. All right, here we have the Dummy cam. He is getting ready here. Alpha, of course, only has about 50%, so we're going to wait for a second until he gets up there. Fast forwarding. And now, Dummy taking up the ridge. He's almost at 100%, and we are going to see him as soon as... Oh, he's going to launch it straight over this. Look at this. Slow motion. He's going to probably sneak around this corner. And just the instant he passes around that perfectly timed crits, launching that sticky at maximum range, and a beautiful sticky hit. Nobody able to stop that at all. Kaboom! So that is going to be Don't Trip's big break. Pures down as well. Lots of critical damage from Dummy. 3 times the damage because of that Kritzkrieg. That was a successfully executed crits. Even Justin laughed about that one. He's just like, wow, nobody expected the Kritzkrieg. That was basically the Spanish Inquisition of all Kritzkriegs right there. Here on I was about to say CP Viaduct. Is there a CP Viaduct? I don't think so. King of the Hill Viaduct. This is a King of the Hill map. I bet you didn't know that. I mean, now, to be fair, if this is like the first competitive map you have ever watched, and you're just like, what is all this competitive TF2 about? Maybe you actually don't know what King of the Hill is. I would forget that. Oh, nice shot by Justin, though, who's on the sniper. Typically on this map, now on the normal Viaduct, just, you know, the stock version of the map, you actually get really long sniper lanes, and it's a really friendly sniper map. But on this version, they have actually shortened the sniper lanes considerably, so you don't usually see snipers doing that well. On the other hand, Justin is a fabulous sniper, and he has no problem shooting heads from just about anywhere. So he's going to be waiting and watching to see where his opponents actually show up, and I would not be surprised if he gets another couple of headshots here. But he misses a Kritzkrieg. He's looking for the med, not going to find him, and that means that Tyrone and Dummy are able to do a lot of damage. Oh, I'm trying not to be gross, guys. I'm really trying here. But Justin not hitting these headshots. There you go. Finally takes down the enemy med, but it is a little bit too late. They're finally killing Dummy, though, as well. Now he's coming into his prime, and the opponent's losing both the med and the demo like that. They're going to be completely unable to do anything. Justin killing a hero by himself with that SMG before he gets taken out. So, you know, going on a sniper spree like that is pretty good. Pretty good for your team. And now we're going to be watching this Tyrone cam here as he tries to get his team forward under this point. Sean Bud's down, but the rest of the team may still be okay. And so I've got this new mic, and I realized that with the mic, you might be able to hear me like being stuffed up. With the old mic, you probably couldn't hear it as well, but this one is just like every time I have a little like crackle with my throat or something, I feel like it's completely audible to you. So it's like I'm actually right there talking to you. Isn't that great? But seriously, it's a cool mic. I like it. I'm glad that I got the recommendation. It sounds pretty good. It doesn't have any problems. Big pills coming in right now. And don't trip. They've got to charge. They're going to pop the crits again, but this time... Oh, no! I thought they actually would be aware of that. And the crits just completely destroyed the Fragile. Anyway, Pierre's down. Siegel's down. It's just Justin left alone. Just Justin. Ha! I just said that. And Dummy finishes off Justin, too, with Tyrone dealing some additional damage there. So, Don't Trip actually could win this round. I thought that was going to be round over for sure, but the Fragile dying to a crit sticky right away, even though they knew the crits was out. So that means they're going to have to make a non-Uber push here. They're going to do exactly that. See Brian trying to lead the way, taking some heals. But they're trying to cap this point right now. If they cap it, that may bring it to halftime. There is a heavy out, though. He actually gets taken out. But it's nobody left alive for fully torqued, so don't... Oh, no, they aren't going to take it to the half. Okay, so it's now 2-1 for Don't Trip. So, remember, Don't Trip wins this. They might actually have a decent record this season. As it is, they don't. I want to watch the Blaze cam on rollout here, see where he decides to go on Viaduct. He is going to take a jump straight through main. Is that main? The middle? I don't even know. Going to go after the soldier up here, deal some damage. Get taken out by Justin, though, who is on the sniper once again. It's just that with that sniper, he's got to get a lot of kills. He will take down the med, and if the Fragile retreats now, remember, the blue medic, if he retreats back into spawn, he'll be perfectly okay. Clockwork sees him, but doesn't want to go for that flank just yet. He's okay with covering his team for now, and he realizes Justin sees him. Doesn't matter. Oh, Justin, kind of like rubbing his hands together with maniacal glee, like Clockwork, you're nothing. Oh, that was pretty good. Pierre taking down Hero with a nice pipe there. Even though I don't think he was really aiming for that, you know, Hero just kind of jumped in the way of the pipe, and he's like, "Hey, I'll eat this, no problem." Blaze trying to defend the point, but it's too late, and the Fragile not even having to pop his Uber there, so he's feeling pretty good about that. Pierre going to lay down a sticky trap. This is a pretty standard trap. And he'll probably lay down the one with the log. That's a beautiful trap right there. Nobody going to see that one ever. And in comes this... Oh, what's Dummy doing up there? Way too high in the air. And now Tyrone down as well. Justin's doing a fantastic job on the sniper right now, keeping his team alive. The Fragile might have to pop the Uber here. No, he is going to be okay. 150 health still. And it's going to be tough for Don't Trip to actually push into this until they get the rest of their players alive. Clockwork was on the sniper temporarily, but I think he has decided that was a bad idea. And now they've got their Uber ready to go. Tyrone taken out by Justin. Justin can't stop shooting heads. He just doesn't know when to quit. You know, you keep asking him. It's like that guy where you're like, dude, stop shooting people in the head. I can quit when I want, but you know he can't. You know he can't. We're going to have an intervention here. He's going to go for the shot on Dummy. Finally misses that one. Dummy's down, though. Sean Bud was the only one to fall victim to that Crits Creek. Justin now wrapping around the upper side here, and he may even go for the Justin spot. No. Not going to do that. He's just going to stay on the normal high walk. In case you want to know, there is a spot called the Justin spot, I think, on this map. Pro Viaduct, that is. Justin in some trouble, and finally, Clockwork will kill him. I'll show you the Justin spot later, I promise. I won't forget. I'll totally forget. But Hero getting on the point here, trying to help capture. He needs health, and this relentless pressure from Fully Torqued is doing a good job. It's just that now Pure, I think, is out of position. There, he will finally die. And that is actually going to cause his team a little bit of a problem. Well, you know, maybe not, though, because he's going to respawn really fast, just in time for the Uber to be ready to go. So they're not going to be wasting too many seconds off the clock here. And pretty soon we'll see the Fully Torqued counter push. While we're waiting for that, though, nah, it's coming in right away. I won't worry about it. I'll show you the Justin spot in a minute. Just hang on, okay? Hang on. Seagull jumping in straight after Alpha, and Dummy will actually finish him off there because he got out of range of the Uber, so the medic couldn't keep him invincible for long enough, but it didn't matter. He shut down that crits early, and that is going to really help the team Fully Torqued capture this point once again. Okay, now I can show you the Justin spot. So you wrap around here, and then maybe it's only on one side, actually, because I'm pretty sure that if you wrap around here and you jump, maybe it's back on this little railing. Whatever it is, it's like you wrap around the other side of that house from the catwalk, and you can actually shoot a lot of people from there too. I actually forget exactly where it is. So I feel like a tool. But incoming Crits Creek once again. Alpha is just not stopping with this crits, and at this point, like normally crits is a surprise move, but yeah, I don't like him running the crits anymore. The Fragile has an Uber. He can just jump in and be like, hey, we're invincible. Your 3 times 0 is still 0. And there's nothing they can do about that. So Fragile going to bring in his team. Really, I guess, oh, nice Uber force out of, was that Tyrone? Yes, it was. So this Uber is going to be decently successful. Clockwork, though, trying to take down a soldier in the backfield. And Z-Brian is dead. Completely dead. Completely toast. Now Pure down as well. Dummy getting a lot of good kills here. Clockwork trying to finish things off, but it's not going to be quite as easy as he thought it was. Dummy popping a scout, up into the air. And Justin will get finished off, landing on the ground, cratering, causing a little crater in the dust. That is, of course, why it's called cratering. Making this landscape look just a little bit more like our friendly pal, the moon. And Dummy wants to come in and start charging into this point. Stop them from capturing it. He knows the times are even. If Don't Trip can take it to the half, they'll feel pretty good about that second half. But right now, their opponents Fully Torqued to actually hold the point. The Ubers are nowhere close. It is just a DM fest up in here. It is like the Renaissance Festival, except instead of walking around and having carnies hand you food, it is walking around and killing each other. That's pretty close, right? They're similar. Right now, of course, Fully Torqued actually have some pretty good positioning up here. Blaze jumped in, tried to get the kill on the Fragile, but the Fragile will grab a health kit. It's just that even with that, Blaze died, didn't get any kills, but he cleared a lot of space for his team to push in. And here comes the crits once again. This time around, it's not going to work, though. This is why they should not have probably run that crits, because this is an Uber they are facing off against. Now, they're giving a little bit of space for Hero and Clockwork to come around behind, and they will... Oh, I thought they'd be able to take down Pure there, but they weren't. Now, there you go. Finally, Seagull, Fragile, Pure, all of them down. And that's going to be Don't Trip should be able to capture this point. Sean Bud down. Yep, that is a complete wipe for the blue team. Every last one of them digging a shallow grave for each other instead of fighting because, actually, they probably can't even do that. They're all dead. They can't dig the grave. Somebody else digging a grave. Maybe it's their opponents just digging those little graves like, oh, go sleep with the fishes while we dig your grave. And then we'll dig you back up from the pond and put you in the grave. That was the worst mixed metaphor I think I've ever made, possibly. Justin... going for Hero, though, and Z-Brian, meanwhile, being the ever-present roamer on his own team's side. 3 seconds left, and yet this is actually really, really close here. But I think there's oh no, it's still really close. There's just enough players on either team to make this a close game. Blaze dying from behind though. Sean Blood helping maybe that's what he should be called. But Sean Blood helping finish off that point. No problemo, and that's going to bring it 2-2. This is a close match, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you are as excited about that as I am, because these teams in Invite are looking pretty evenly matched, except of course for Classic Mix-Up and possibly VP. But everybody else in the basically the not 1 and not 2 spots, they are going to be fighting viciously to see who gets to go to LAN. Right now, Sean Bud taking a lot of damage. He wants to get away from that scout who's chasing him down, but no. Clockwork, when he's got your number, and he will not stop calling it. He calls you up, and he's just like, hey, is your refrigerator running? And you're like, no, Clockwork, stop calling me. He just keeps, like, laughing at you. But, you know, Clockwork, no, he doesn't let up. He really does not. And he's got great aim, so if you've ever MGE'd against him or whatever, I don't even know if he practiced MGE all that much. He probably does. But, you know, Clockwork, he barely misses these shots, even against Invite opponents who have great dodging ability. Actually, so I've heard that obviously the person who plays MGE from Invite possibly the most is Banny, and people have stories about MGEing against Banny. You just go to a random MGE server and Banny's there, and you're like, oh, I'm going to play against Banny, and then you never even get a single kill, and you're like, oh, darn it. Nice kill on Sean Bud, though, from Clockwork, and he's going to come in behind Pure as well. Sounds like Alpha actually may have dropped Uber to Pure, so a bit interesting there, as the Fragile will have a nice Uber ready to go. But Clockwork waiting in an interesting spot here. If this team actually decides to go in this way, this actually could be bad for Clockwork just because it's such an enclosed space, and he is a scout. But he's really just waiting for the med pick. He knows he'll die after that. But, yeah, nobody able to spot him here. Now, Seagull and Zebrian doing a pretty good job, but nobody spots Clockwork at all. He's coming in. He's going to try to get the kill on the Fragile. No, he forces the pop, though, and now will escape and die. But that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to at least force the Uber, maybe get the kill. Of course, he would have preferred the kill, but he forced the Uber. That's going to give the team just a tiny bit of an advantage. But considering the respawn time there of Alpha, it's actually not that great of an advantage. Right now, Pure trying to stop his opponents from getting in through this side, and he probably will, but Clockwork is just not gonna stop, man. He's continuing to prank call these people. He's got their numbers, and even after they, like, try and put themselves on the do not call list, and even after they disconnect all the phones, you know, it's like one of those horror movies, they're still ringing, and you're just like, oh my god, please stop calling me, no! And Clockwork shows up anyway at your window. He's got that knife out, and he's just like, I got your number. Okay, am I being creepy enough yet? No, I should probably throw in some references to clowns. Anyway, Pure is doing some decent damage on the invading team, but it's just not enough. It will all get healed up. Pure taking a lot of damage himself. Dummy with an overheal, he's gonna have no problem. But Clockwork and Blaze, who were playing on the flank, actually getting taken down. Now, they did force an Uber, which is good. And Alpha, this time around, will have a pretty big advantage. But, oh, that point is not captured, and that does not feel good for Don't Trip right now. They're having to retreat all the way back into spawn, practically. And things will not be good for them. Ugh, as I wipe my nose here. I'm like the ultimate nerd, casting TF2, wiping my nose. I just need glasses. But there you go. A nice crits, actually, despite the fact that the med died. They capped the control point anyway with only 2 enemies left. They're going to try and find the Fragile, but I guarantee you the Fragile's already in spawn. Yep, he is rushing back here right now. Doesn't want to get shot, and he's just going to hang out in spawn. There you have it. So that will be an Uber advantage big time for the Fragile. They'll be able to push back out within the next 30 seconds to stop their opponents from gaining too much of a lead, unless Clockwork gets a kill, but no, he won't. Clockwork just getting shot up against a wall, and finally, it's like after you kill that scary psycho clown in the movie, and you think you're safe, only to see the next clown show up, and that next clown may just be Blaze. Tyrone jumping and getting a nice kill on Justin, not Dustin, but Justin, and Tyrone now dead himself. But no, Blaze has decided he wants to come out and play too. Dummy's retreating meanwhile, trying to keep his med alive, and you do see that Uber able to gain a lot of ground for the for the fully torqued team. Not quite enough, though. There you go. Now they get a bunch of kills here. Pure, Justin, and Sean Bud all cleaning things up, letting their opponents crash into them like water against a cliff. They're just like, no, sir. We are going to hold this point now and keep this game as close as possible. Seagull going to keep his med nice and toasty and warm over underneath the rock archway there. And now jumping in, trying to get the kill. No, Alpha with 14 health will escape from that just barely. This entire team was bottled up inside that little house. And he is A-okay. So Tyrone now taking a jump and actually lands on top of that little, I mean, these guys, they know when they're jumping, they know exactly where they're going to land. And it surprises me because I'm terrible. But Dummy hitting Pure, no problem. But he only hit Pure. Remember, Pure is not the med anymore, it's the Fragile. So the Fragile is going to have an Uber to rush in here and recapture that point pretty soon. Gosh, these times are still so close, though. Sean Bud getting inside the house, he sees all. He sees everything. And Sean Bud, of course, using his binds. Because in TF2, you gotta have your binds. It's a very important part of competitive TF2 is you need to be able to say stuff by clicking one button and say it over and over. Blaze down right now. Clockwork down as well. He was jumping in after his opponents, but it's not gonna happen. The Fragile wants to get his team starting to capture here because they are losing out on the time. They're kind of desperate. They only have 2 players left alive. It's just Fragile and Sean Bud, and they know. They're like, wait a minute, guy, we need to capture. Fragile's like, come on, get in here and capture the point, dude. We have no time left. They're waiting for their reinforcements to come in. In comes a critical Krieg, though, and the Fragile is down right away. Tyrone down, but I think this is going to be a round in favor of Don't Trip. They are actually going to bring it to the half. It's still going to be a lot of DMing on the point, though. Deathmatch skills, 1v1 or 2v2 or whatever you want to call it. But I think that is going to be the game unless the Fragile can come in here and pull a miracle. He's going to try it. He's going to try it with the crossbow even. Hits an Uber Saw, but no, Alpha will finish that off. It's 3-2. Don't Trip. We're going to halftime. And going into the second half, hopefully I sound a little bit better. I realized that I was actually just maybe too close to my microphone, or maybe I was like aiming my mouth too much to the microphone because there were definitely some popping noises coming from my my hard P's and all that. Actually, that sounds like an awful fruit or vegetable to eat. Hard peas. I don't think I want those. Oh man! Clockwork getting air shot by a seagull. And now Dummy exchanging the favor by hitting a beautiful pipe there on a scout. All the scouts pretty much down except for Sean Bud, but everybody down, including Alpha for Don't Trip. So fully torqued coming out really strong here. Maybe they are in fact torqued. I promise you. I will explain where their name and tag, well, not their name so much as their tag, the 12, comes from. I'll explain that after the match is over, so I'm not going to like debase the actual match itself. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Speaking of which, by the way, is there a website out there yet that like says, hey, you can be the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury? Interesting Heavy coming out here, by the way. Heavy with an Uber advantage. So this is fully torqued, basically saying to their opponents, we want to hold the point and never let you do anything. And I like how the Heavy got up here too, walking up that rock. He's going to be able to hold this down for quite a long time. But there's got to be a website out there that says you could be the Secretary of the Treasury for the U.S. All you need to do is input your signature here, and it shows you what your signature would look like on the dollar bill. I want to see that happen. If it hasn't happened yet, somebody please make that website. Because I know they've been displaying, you know, because the president nominated a new Treasury Secretary, and his signature was just like a bunch of loops, and people were like, we don't want that on our dollar bill. Sorry. So, I want to see what my signature looks like on a dollar. Seriously, I want to see that. So somebody please direct me to a website where I can put my signature, and I can even put my face on it. I want to make like my own dollar bill and print it out and just be like, yes, this is the United States of Eric, because my name is Eric. Or Sal, or whatever, the United Sals of America. Oh, and I shot by Hero. That is, of course, the ultimate counter to the Heavy, having a sniper. Believe it or not. And Hero's a really good sniper, by all accounts. By everything I've heard, I've seen him play on Process. Those Process matches, for instance, Hero got some absolutely ludicrous snipes, but his opponent is going to jump and do a little pirouette in the air there and keep his head safe for the moment. Hero actually whiffing a couple of shots here too. Not an easy shot to hit against somebody who is bombing through the air. And finally Z-Brian will finish him off. That's what you got to do when you are playing a soldier against a sniper, is you've got to find a way to, the moment he can see you, you already need to be flying through the air, and then as he retreats, you just can't let up. Because if you let up, then he's going to get another shot in your medic. So that is Z-Brian. That was his single goal in life, was to kill that sniper, and he achieved it. So, have you achieved your life goals? I don't think so. Well, maybe you have. Maybe your life goal is to watch SalTV, in which case that is an admirable goal, and you're achieving it right now. But Tyrone, now bleeding? No, he's not bleeding. In fact, he is doing the opposite of that. He's overhealed. He's healthier than he's ever been. Finally taking some rockets, but he's leading, is what I meant to say, his team on the charge to regain this point. Right now, they are severely behind in the time on this King of the Hill map. Remember, the time counts down to 0, and whoever has that 0 first pretty much wins, unless there's somebody on the point. But you know, whatever. It's a race to see who can get that 0 first. Alpha, it could be under a little bit of pressure here, but pulls out the needles. He'll be fine, actually. That's just a regular Uber, not a Kritzkrieg from his opponents. And however, my grammar is perfect. Fully Torqued are still going to hold on to the point, and Fragile here keeping his teammates very much alive. They are going to get invaded a little bit by Clockwork. You see that scout jumping in, and oh, now the Fragile's in trouble. Using the crossbow just to try and keep himself a little bit safer from those guys, but it doesn't even matter. He needs to escape, and no, he will not. That's going to be Dummy jumping in there with the pills, and Hero trying to help his team keep anybody away from Alpha right now. How long can Don't Trip actually hold this point? That's the only question. Now, they've got an Uber advantage, so I would say actually quite a little while.
The control point is being contested.
But, of course, what I say is almost always wrong. Because I don't play Invite. I've never played it. Unlike other casters who are pretty good. Pretty good. Seagull launching some rockets the enemy's way. And Blaze will finally go down, but so does Pure, and not having Pure is actually a pretty big deal. Seagull is still a huge card for his team to play. They drop the Seagull card, and everyone's like, oh, come on, man. But no, you got to drop that Seagull card when you have it. And that's going to mean, with 9 seconds left, as soon as they capture this, there is not a lot that Alpha can do. And they actually try to stop the capture there with the Uber, but it was just a little bit too late. Now they've got a weird position, weird situation where they're trying to capture this point in overtime, and it's not going to happen. So Fully Torqued will hold on to the point. And it's 3-3. Whoever wins the next point this round wins the game. And I promise you guys, I am not going to bring you unexciting matches here on SalTV. No, sir. So I want to see comment predictions like, okay, it's round 7, and I think this team is going to win. Is it going to be Don't Trip? Is it going to be Fully Torqued? I want to see comment predictions. If I don't see comment predictions, I'm going to be a sad panda. Sean Bud helping taking down Clockwork. Clockwork did not have a lot of health left there, and so Sean Bud took advantage of that. But right now, Don't Trip will capture the point. Fully Torqued here, they're like, okay, well, you know, maybe this is our first match since the roster change. Maybe we're having a little bit of trouble. Maybe we're having an invisible scout. That is always the answer to everything, invisible scouts. I think that was Justin. I'm not sure why my TF2 does that, so if you know the answer and you know how to fix it and make things not invisible, I would appreciate that. But Justin just wrapping around right now, not playing very aggressive. You notice he is playing the passive scout at the moment, trying to keep Clockwork off of his team. And can Clockwork get this kill? No, not quite killing the Fragile, but one meat shot would have done it. So it's a good thing that they managed to kill him when they did. Justin taking more health. And, oh, finishes off Hero there. That's a nice kill, because that means there is no scouts left alive for Don't Trip. That's going to give a lot of room to maneuver. The flanks are completely unguarded. Finally, the scouts are respawning here, and Tyrone actually in a very forward position, not getting a lot of heals from the Med at the moment, because the Med is trying to keep himself alive. Tyrone's like, hey, wait, Med, where'd you go? They're playing Ring Around the Rosie around the door with each other. And Tyrone wants his team to push, but they actually have an Uber disadvantage. Blaze dropping to Z-Brian over in that little hut on the side of the map behind the giant railway bridge. Incoming Uber. Alpha has an Uber of his own, but he loses Dummy. Is he going to pop it to save? No, he is not. He's just like, look, we're going to retreat here. We're going to have 6 players. We're going to push in with 6 players. Not before then. And actually, Hero dying just now means that they might have to wait a little bit. Only 4 seconds. That's not too bad. So they'll be jumping in pretty soon, and this time around, Sean Bud's actually really low health. Justin down. This is going to be really bad for Fully Torqued here, potentially, as the Uber is going to come in from Alpha. No problem. Nobody able to stop them, and Alpha has given so much ground here. No, he drops Tyrone, though. That's not good. He doesn't even have to pop the Uber. His opponents have all died before the Uber. He's just like, no, we can hold on to this, actually. No problem. Now, they really want to get aggressive, I think, into the Fragile's face, but no, the Fragile already retreating. Is that a spray? I swear that's a spray. That is totally a spray. I think that's Clockwork spray, actually. And I didn't think sprays were allowed on the ESEA servers, but apparently they are. Or maybe that's just, maybe that's not a spray, or maybe that's some new kind of, like, spy update thing. I don't know. I've seen it a lot, though, and I thought I saw it. Whatever. Whatever, okay? Whatever. Pure popping the Uber, losing a... no, sorry, not Pure. Wow, I'm so confused. The Fragile popping the Uber. Pure and Justin are both down already, and that was not a successful Uber at all. But the aftermath with Blaze and Clockwork dying, that's a pretty big deal, because those are two huge playmakers for this team. The Fragile realizes there is a scout next to him, but that's going to get taken out real fast. Good reaction time on the rest of his team to save him from that scout, and things are getting down to the wire here as Pure jumps in, helps capture the point, lays a sticky trap, and things are pretty much looking good, well, for Don't Trip, if they can get back in and capture this point pretty soon. However, Alpha is at a disadvantage right now to his opponent in the Ubers. And so Dummy is going to start trying to lead the charge here to force the enemy pop. They've got to force a pop out of the Fragile, or else Don't Trip is going to be in a little bit of trouble. You see only 20 seconds difference, really, between these two teams right now. And this is some good point capturing, so they've got it. But now, there's not enough players left alive to hold it. Incoming Uber, the Fragile has his. Alpha does not have his Uber yet. This is a good use of that Uber. And where is Alpha, though? He has, I think, escaped, although he doesn't quite know where he's going. But yes, he has escaped. And so now there is an Uber. They can push right back in with this. This is going to be back and forth action here on Koth. I was about to say CP again. Koth Viaduct Pro RC3. Whatever. That's the name of the map, I think. But Blaze wants to take a big jump, going after the med right away, or going after the demo actually would be a good choice as well. He gets taken down, and at this point, Fully Torqued may actually get ahead in the time just for a little bit. The Uber comes in, though. Now they have to retreat, and no, that point is going to go right back in the hands of Don't Trip. They are not going to let their opponents take the lead. There you have it. And at this point in the match, taking the lead is a pretty significant deal. The longer you can hold that, the more desperate your enemies will become. Will Fully Torqued actually win this match? At this point, it's looking less and less likely, but Pure starting to spam down the pills. He wants to deal a lot of damage to clear the way for his team to get in there and get the kills. Interesting Uber force there coming from, I think, that is going to be Blaze. And Blaze and Pure are now having a dance of death. Meanwhile, the rest of Pure's team, Fully Torqued, are capturing the point once again. They don't want to let this up just yet. Pure still managed to get away from Blaze somehow. Maybe Blaze just retreated, and now Seagull has finished him off. So Pure taking a lot of heals here. But the point, trading hands potentially once again. Alpha very low on health, though, and he is probably going to die to that scout. Justin finishes him off. So that's going to be a huge boon to the red team here. However, they don't want to let their opponents capture, and they are going to have to do that. They're retreating. They've got an Uber advantage, but that Uber may not even come into play here, as there is a couple of scouts trying to chase down the medic. Clockwork gets a nice bat kill on Pure, spamming the Wazzle Dazzle. But that is going to be a pretty big play. Right now, Fully Torqued, they need to get in here. It's going to be overtime, but they are capturing the point. They actually have an Uber advantage, and this is where it's going to matter. The Fragile managed to stay alive against those two scouts, and that is a huge deal. Because he's got an Uber, he can pop that. That's such a huge advantage. That buys at least 10 seconds, probably more. The Uber popped right now. Seagull trying to do some damage here, and the Scout will take some of that Uber as well, pushing forward directly into his opponent's faces. Seagull laying some damage down from the high ground, but this is all it's about. Comp TF2 right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last couple seconds of the match. Clockwork down, Dummy down, and suddenly things do not look good for Don't Trip at all. They're losing their soldiers. That soldier having to wrap his way around a sticky trap, as you see on the ground there. And, oh, things are not looking good. Tyrone walked over the sticky trap. It is just a medic left on the point, and now that time is ticking down rapidly to a win for Fully Torqued. The Scout tries to jump in, but eats a sticky trap and dies. This is ridiculous, but that is Fully Torqued winning the game. And this soldier not very happy about that. But thank you for watching. Of course, this has been Salamancer. And this has been an incredible round of ESEA Invite North American TF2. You were wondering whether I was going to remember to tell you the story of the tag for Fully Torqued. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to say subscribe to SalTV2, and then I'm going to tell you a little story. The Fully Torqued team, they changed their name after Lang left. It's no longer the laser beams, because I guess without Lang, you can't have lasers, or whatever the case. I don't know. But their tag was basically just a really juvenile joke, and if you're not into juvenile jokes, you should probably just turn this off right now, and just close the video, and just be like, okay, well, that was stupid. Thanks, Sal. Because that's what you're going to be like at the end of this. That was stupid. Thanks for relaying that to me, Sal. But the 12, basically, it is supposed to resemble an erect penis, because the 12 on a clock is where both hands are pointing upwards, like a dick. That's it. That's the joke. Ha ha! Alright, that's it.